Welcome to Rest and Relax, where history's most incredible stories come to life. Today, we're taking you on an epic journey through the heart of Mesoamerica to witness the rise and devastating fall of the Aztec Empire. In this episode, we'll dive deep into the power and grand wealth of the last great Aztec ruler, Moctezuma II, and the greed and deception of Hernán Cortés, the Spanish conquistador, who forever changed the fate of the Americas. What happened to the legendary wealth of the Aztec Empire? And how did Cortés, with just a few hundred men, topple one of the most advanced civilizations in the world? Let's find out. Our story begins in the early 14th century. The Aztecs, once a nomadic tribe struggling to survive in the harsh lands of central Mexico, were led by a powerful prophecy. The god Huitzilopochtli commanded them to settle where they saw an eagle perched on a cactus, devouring a snake. In the middle of Lake Texcoco, they found their promised land and founded their capital, Tenochtitlan, the heart of what would become the Aztec Empire. Tenochtitlan quickly grew into a marvel of engineering. The Aztecs constructed floating gardens called chinampas, which allowed them to grow food on the lake's surface, providing sustenance for their rapidly growing population. By the early 15th century, Tenochtitlan had become the most powerful city-state in the region, thanks to the formation of the Triple Alliance with neighboring Texcoco and Tlacopan. Together, they expanded their empire across central Mexico through diplomacy, trade, and warfare. By the time Moctezuma II ascended the throne in 1502, the Aztec Empire had reached the height of its power. Moctezuma, seen by his people as a divine ruler, governed an empire that stretched across vast territories, with millions of subjects paying tribute to Tenochtitlan. Known for his lavish lifestyle, Moctezuma's wealth was legendary. His palaces were adorned with gold, silver, and precious stones. His personal zoo, which housed exotic animals from across the empire, and his immense collection of jewelry, artwork, and artifacts were symbols of the Aztec Empire's greatness. But Moctezuma was more than just a wealthy ruler. He was the protector of his people, a devout follower of the gods, and a formidable military leader. He ensured that the sun continued to rise each day by offering human sacrifices to the gods. This practice, though brutal by modern standards, was a deeply held belief, one that bound the empire together in religious devotion. Moctezuma saw himself as the intermediary between the gods and his people, responsible for maintaining cosmic order. Under Moctezuma's rule, the Aztec Empire expanded even further, reaching the pinnacle of its territorial conquests. But as his empire grew, so too did his challenges. Whispers of omens, sightings of strange men arriving from the sea, and unsettling signs from the gods began to trouble Moctezuma. These signs and visions were taken seriously, and Moctezuma feared they foretold a great calamity. On the distant shores of Veracruz, the prophecy that haunted Moctezuma seemed to come true. In 1519, Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition, greed, and a hunger for gold, landed with just over 500 men, a few horses, and cannons. Cortés had heard tales of a mighty empire rich in gold and precious stones. His mission: to find it, plunder its wealth, and claim its lands for the Spanish crown. Cortés was no stranger to warfare, and though vastly outnumbered, he had a secret weapon. He was a master of manipulation and strategy. Cortés quickly realized that the Aztecs had many enemies, including the Tlaxcalans, who resented the Aztec Empire's dominance. With promises of revenge and freedom, Cortés formed alliances with these enemies, bolstering his small force. When Cortés arrived at the gates of Tenochtitlan, Moctezuma welcomed him with open arms, uncertain whether this strange visitor was a god or simply a powerful leader. The Aztecs, who had never seen horses, steel armor, or gunpowder, were astonished by the technology the Spanish brought. Moctezuma, unsure of Cortés's true intentions, showered him with gifts of gold and silver, hoping to satisfy the greed of these mysterious strangers and avoid conflict. But instead of being appeased, Cortés became obsessed. So let's give a little context to what Cortés was seeing at the time. The wealth of Moctezuma II is often described as legendary. While exact figures are hard to pin down, there are some estimates based on historical accounts to give us a little clue to the size and value that Cortés saw at the time. The weight of the gold is an estimation, but it's believed that Moctezuma's treasure included a significant amount of gold. One notable account mentions that the gold part of the ransom demanded by the Spanish conquistadors weighed over 13,420 pounds. That's roughly 6.71 tons of gold and had a purity of 22.5 carats. In terms of value, this gold was estimated to be worth over 1.3 million gold pesos at the time, which would be close to $500 million today. Additionally, the overall wealth of Moctezuma, including other treasures like silver, jewels, and artifacts, would likely push this value much higher. This would have been paramount to hitting a modern-day lottery winning, only this was about 500 years ago. The wealth of the Aztecs was beyond anything Cortés had ever imagined, and his greed only grew. Moctezuma's gifts had the opposite effect. Cortés now saw Tenochtitlan as the ultimate prize. He and his men, despite being outnumbered, took Moctezuma hostage within his own palace. Moctezuma, who believed diplomacy would protect his people, now found himself at the mercy of a conqueror driven by lust for gold. The tension finally boiled over. In 1520, during a religious festival, the Spanish massacred hundreds of unarmed Aztec nobles, sparking a full-scale revolt. The Aztecs, outraged by the sacrilege, drove Cortés and his men out of the city in what is now known as the Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. But this was only a temporary victory. After regrouping and gaining reinforcements, Cortés returned to lay siege to Tenochtitlan. With the Aztecs weakened by smallpox, an epidemic brought by the Europeans, the once mighty empire crumbled. After months of bloody fighting, the city fell in August 1521. Moctezuma, who had been seen as a traitor by some of his own people, died under mysterious circumstances, and the vast empire he had built came to an end. After the fall of Tenochtitlan, Cortés and his men plundered the empire's vast treasures of gold, silver, jewels, and priceless artifacts. But the question remains, what happened to the legendary wealth of the Aztecs? While some of the treasures were sent back to Spain, much of it has disappeared. Rumors persist that Cortés may have hidden parts of the treasure, while other stories suggest that fleeing Aztec nobles took the wealth with them, hiding it from the Spanish for future generations. To this day, the fate of the Aztec treasure remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Did Cortés and his men hide it, or does the gold still lie buried, waiting to be discovered? Though the Aztec Empire fell, its legacy lives on. The ruins of Tenochtitlan lie beneath the streets of modern-day Mexico City, and Aztec culture, language, and traditions have left an indelible mark on Mexican identity. From their architectural wonders to their complex social systems, the Aztecs continue to fascinate the world. If you enjoyed this journey through the rise and fall of the Aztec Empire, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. There are countless more stories from history waiting to be told, right here on Rest and Relax. You can click on our suggested videos right here, or check out our channel for playlists we think you'll love. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.